Hello again. Sorry about that.
Sorry, I was wondering if you would join back. So we finished at the place we were talking about. What exactly? Because I kind of lost it, not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
I kind of lost where we were as well. I was about to. I think I was about to like. Oh, I was about to
Oh,
tell
you
you.
were yes,
Yeah,
you were telling me what is socialism about,
yeah.
right? Yes.
So
Okay. So I want to listen, please. Thank you.
okay. So like on a basic level, how here's how I define socialism. You have workers owning the means of production,
Hmm.
and you have decommodified everything that people need to live in a modern society. So things
Hmm.
like healthcare, um, education, electricity, water, shelter, etc., etc. Now, this doesn't mean
Yes.
that all homes are now free to live in. This doesn't mean that armed people come to your house and are like, "Hey, here's this stranger named Jeff. He lives in your house now." Um,
Hmm.
it just means that if somebody goes homeless, they can live in a place. Like they are given a place to live.
Hmm.
Um, and when I say like food gets decommodified, what I'm saying is, maybe you don't have access to all the food. Maybe you can't like go get, I don't know, what's like a fancy food like caviar or Pop Tarts or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
But you can go and get like a loaf of bread and like some eggs and
Yeah.
like soup. You aren't starving to death if you don't have
Hmm.
the means to provide for yourself.
Hmm.
Um, and like yeah, and healthcare too. Like I don't know, in America, for example, there are like somewhere around 50 million children who are either underinsured, meaning like their insurance doesn't cover like the full
Yes.
cost,
Yes.
or
Sorry for.
or
Mhm.
completely uninsured.
Yes, sorry for stopping you from keeping going, but this is what you're saying right now.
Hmm.
It's America problem, and this is not like a worldwide. You know what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
That, for example, uh, people who work, what you said in. I'm really sorry for all the Americans here
Hmm.
in a normal country that actually take care of the own citizens in a, as you said, socialist way,
Hmm.
they should provide them with the healthcare. And this is how it is in Europe. In every European country, for example,
Hmm.
you have this kind of healthcare. Yeah, you pay the taxes in your salary,
Hmm.
in what you get for your work, and you get the healthcare, and it's free. You can go to a dentist for free. You can go to a I don't know how you say it, GP, general
Yeah,
practitioner.
yeah.
Yeah, general practitioner for free. You can go for anything for free. Chemos for free. Everything is for free. US is like very weird because US is a bit of wild capitalism, as I said about Russia
Hmm.
as well. This is a uh, very weird situation because I know I heard about these problems before when I moved across the ocean. I heard about this. In Canada, thanks God, we don't have this problem. We have like a normal healthcare.
Hmm.
But in the US, yes, I heard about this, and it's absolutely disgusting because what I feel like as a human being,
Hmm.
I feel like everyone, even if they're unemployed or they're working, doesn't matter.
Hmm.
They should receive a healthcare
Yeah.
because this is absolutely like crucial for a society to take care of everyone. You know what I mean? We're all humans,
Hmm.
and this part of socialism, I completely agree with you. I don't agree in a very specific way, and this is what I mean by economy. Okay, the socialist economy for me,
Hmm.
it cannot work in a modern society, and it will not work ever, like ever, because this is just a human nature. Okay,
Wait,
everyone
do you not
wants
think that
to.
democratic worker co-ops exist?
I know they exist,
Yeah.
and I support everything like unions or everything like that. People
Hmm.
should fight for their rights. But as I said before, you cannot expect like I don't know if that's the right thing to say in English, but like a golden hills, okay? If you didn't give like 100% of yourself. For example, let's say I'm an IT specialist, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, and I earn, let's say, $10,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of money, right? And there's a guy who finished like a primary school. He works at Walmart. He earns, let's say, 1,500 a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you want me when I obviously spent more of my time and I tried harder than him? Let's do not look at the opportunities, okay? Um, and I tried harder than him to fight for my place on this earth, on this planet, on
Whoa,
the
whoa, whoa,
earth.
whoa, wait. When you
Mhm.
say you tried harder, does that mean this person who's working full time at Walmart is working
No, no, no.
less than
It's
you?
very no, no, no. It's very hard job. It's
Yeah.
very hard job
Right.
because if you want to hear my story, when I started, I was 17. I used to work in hospitality as a waiter. This is a very hard
Hello?
job.
Oh no! God damn it! Hello?
Hello? Yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
I can now. Hello?
Okay, sorry, sorry. So I said that when I was a teenager, like 17, 18,
Mm-hmm.
I used to work in hospitality as a waiter. This is a very hard job. Very
Yeah.
hard job. Very hard job, and I have a lot of respect for everyone. Like if someone is working, like doing any kind of job, I have respect for that person,
Mm-hmm.
because he's actually like giving a part of himself or herself for this job,
Mm-hmm.
and it's beautiful. It's I don't know if you say it in English. Once again, I'm sorry, I'm missing some words now. But for me, everyone who's working deserves dignity and deserves a good life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, I don't want people who are just lazy, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't know, let's say not even lazy, but they're not willing to take any job that is possible. I don't want to have them the exact same, the exact amount of wealth
Mm-hmm.
that, for example, I'm gonna have if I work harder than them.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, socialism is trying to put people on the same equal level, but it's not possible because some of the people in the society they are different than the others, and some people, for example, let's say I don't know, you, for example, are more hardworking than I am, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and you are earning much more than I am.
I mean,
So do
wait,
you
but
think that
wait.
would
Do
be?
you think
Let me
richer?
finish. Let me finish,
All
please.
right.
Do you think that it would be fair for me to say, "Hey, share your money with me because you're earning more than me"? It's not fair. It's not fair. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well,
It's not fair because some people are trying harder, they are working their asses off, and they spend much more time on, for example, education, let's say, and you cannot expect, like, if you're a I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to offend anyone because, as I said, I have respect for everyone who is at any kind of work. If you're working at Walmart, you cannot expect the same pay as, for example, someone who is working for Google. You know what I'm trying to say? You cannot
can I
expect the same.
answer? Can I
Yes,
answer
please, please, please,
questions?
please,
So,
please.
my argument would be that people who are doing jobs in as part of a democratic worker co-op should have equal say in how much their labor is worth.
Yes,
Because
of course.
for example, if you don't have people working at Walmart, the people who run Walmart don't make money.
Yes,
So that's kind of a key component to that relationship, right?
I
Like,
completely agree with you now.
yeah.
I completely agree with you. Because this is the thing. There's people, they should have, like, they should be paid enough, okay, to have everything they want. For me, the basic needs of the human is flat food, maybe some, I don't know, going out, clothes, have some savings. For me, this is basics. But for me, on the other hand, the other people, who are working like let's be honest, okay, uh, much more intellectual way. As I said again, I don't want to be rude. Please don't misunderstand me. Um, who are trying to, who, for example, have a like a high degree, okay,
Mm-hmm.
they have much more responsible job. You cannot expect them to earn as much, for example, as the Walmart employee. And I'm not saying they're not important. They are very important.
Well, can
They're a
I
very important part of economy, and they should be much appreciated, especially nowadays when they have this virus. The
can I
shops
ask
are
a
still
question?
open. Yes, please, please, please.
So, do you think that Jeff Bezos works like a billion times harder than you?
Excuse me, who?
Like Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon?
Uh, I'm not saying he works much harder, but
But
I
a
think
billion
he
times
was much.
smarter than you?
Actually, I think he is, yes.
Really?
Because yes, I do think like this. Because he invented this thing, yeah.
Wait, can I just real quick? Can I
hmm
ask then, is Jeff Bezos's ex-wife billions of times smarter than you?
I mean, I heard about this famous
Yeah.
divorce. I have no opinion about her. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I have no opinion about her. I heard about him, but for me, this guy, uh, if he invaded Amazon, or even if he didn't you say that? Invade?
He
Invited,
he
invited, invited. Sorry, invited Amazon like himself. He was still smart enough to make a profit out of it, and this is appreciated for me. Okay, and as I said, I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that people who are, for example, uneducated should be like starving or anything.
but they
As I
are
said,
though.
yes, I know, and it shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen.
But
This is
that's the end
disgusting.
point of capitalism.
It's not.
Because
Actually, it's
if
not.
you can coerce workers to work for starvation wages, then you get more profit at the top. That is
Okay,
working
but
smarter, right?
let's say you're yourself, right? Would you go to a work when you get, for example, like $400 a month? Would you go for a work like that, for a job like that?
If you can't get any other job and you need to feed yourself and your kids,
Yeah,
then
but
yeah.
you can get more out of welfare, don't you?
Uh, that depends on where you are and how the welfare system works where you are.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, for example, as I said, I'm really sorry. I don't know the standards of the USA, yeah,
Oh,
but
well, so can I
mhm.
real quick give you like
Yes,
some
please.
insight into how our system works? Walmart literally pays people below the poverty line so that they can take like
What's the poverty line in the US?
it depends on different places, but they literally have tuned their business model so that their workers have to use food stamps, which basically food subsidies for the poorest in all of the United States,
Mhm.
because their workers would starve to death if they weren't getting those. So like when you say like these people who own these large corporations are working smarter, like that, to me what it sounds like you're saying is it is smarter to keep your workers on starvation wages so you make
No,
more
but
profit.
somehow they got into this position, right?
That
Somehow,
Yeah, but like usually
and
that's because they were born into wealth.
but not in every case.
But in
Like you
most
cannot.
cases, like in most societies, and we know this from like sociological research, but like if
Okay,
you're
but
born poor,
I'm
you're
okay.
more likely to die poor. If you're born rich, you're more
Yes,
likely to die
yes,
rich.
yes. I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, as I said, I'm gonna give an example out of me. Okay.
Hmm.
My parents, when they used to work, they had like a minimum wage in France. Yeah,
Hmm.
and I was living like a very, very, very poor child. And my mother died of cancer 2 years ago.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, don't worry about that. I moved to Canada 1 year ago, and I didn't really have a contact with my father, and I was barely basically on my own after I turned 18. Yeah. Uh, so uh, I had to fight for my living. I graduated here, you know.
Hmm.
I graduated. I tried to fight for my living, and I did it somehow. And I didn't have any help from the government or anything. It was just me. It was just me, and I did it. And I came from a poor family, so I don't understand the point of the other people who are trying to say me, tell me, sorry, that they cannot achieve something, because I don't really believe in this. You know, I think if you really work on hard on anything, you can like make a money out of it. You can like really try very hard, and you have a success in your life, you know. And this is the beautiful part of capitalism. What you're saying now is a very bad thing of capitalism, and I never said on a chat, which some people here already tried to told me that I discuss socialism. No, no. For example, with healthcare, I completely agree with you.
Hmm.
For example, for me, everyone should have equal access to healthcare, no matter if they work or not.
So
This
my
is out of the
my
question.
my I guess my response to you is that while yes, your story is possible, the
Hmm.
unfortunate reality is that the data and numbers do not back up the fact that it's attainable for most people.
Hmm.
Your your ability to succeed was largely determined by a lot of environmental factors that are not common to most
Hmm.
people who are in your position. I'm
Like
glad that you're able to succeed.
mhm.
Um,
Like what kind of factors do you mean? Because, for example, I literally, if I can be honest, I came to Canada when I had $200
mhm,
like US bucks in my pocket, and I came to the Canada, and I was wandering on the street for 2 or 3 days. I'm not even joking now.
yeah.
And I found a room that was paid weekly, and I could afford a weekly rent. And I first found my first job, and I got it, you
Mhm.
know, and I survived. So I don't understand why other people can't do the same.
Well, so
Because
you
if
know,
I can do that, sorry, once again, sorry. If I can do that, I believe everyone can do that. You just really need to believe in yourself, because and sorry if I'm being like offensive or anything. Uh, I think if you're like quote lazy, end of quote, person, uh, you will not achieve anything in your life, no matter what economy system gonna be like, socialism, capitalism, anything. You will be still in the same position, and you can't expect from other people. If they're working harder than you, you cannot expect from them to get the same amount of money that you get if you were working much more harder to
well,
get this, you know.
what if I told you that my advocacy for socialism is not that everyone gets paid the same no matter what they do?
No, no, I understand completely your point of view. You said that before, yeah, that the workers should take their have you said this, sorry?
I mean, I believe in democratic worker co-ops where
Hmm.
people would be able to advocate for how much they should get paid and what their working conditions should be, and more importantly, what the people at the top of the worker
Hmm.
co-op get paid and what their conditions are.
Yeah,
Because right
but
now,
some
most of the wealth
mhm.
goes to the top to basically, facilitate people living
Yes,
in
but
luxury beyond anything that we can possibly comprehend.
it's true, I agree with you, but somehow these people they get to the very top of this mountain, you know,
But again,
and
usually they're born rich. So
but
like is that
not
really
all of them.
but most of them are. Like so do you really want a
Okay,
system where
okay,
people are just born into wealth and by virtue of them being born into wealth,
okay. So
they
please
they have
answer
power
me.
over you?
Okay, so please answer me one question. How do you think socialism would fix all these things?
Mhm.
For, for me, this would it can't work for me. In my mind, it can't work for me, because when I think about socialism, me myself,
Mhm.
I think like, okay, even if I'm like working in a factory, okay,
Hmm.
Even I'm working in factory. For example, I'm again, sorry if I'm offending anyone, but if I'm like low educated or
Hmm.
non-educated, I'm working in factory because I don't have any skills necessary on the market.
Hmm.
Like I'm working on a in a factory. Uh, how do you want me to be on the same level as people who, for example, have a degree? You know what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
You cannot expect people to like work much more harder on their future and have the same amount of pay. As I said before, for me, every job, like literally every job, should have the specific amount of money that should be able to cover all the bills, all the food, and everything.
Hmm.
And for me, this is socialism, okay? And when people say about workers' unions, things like that, I I support the context of the workers' union because I think it's a good thing to do to care about each other. But on the other hand, some people are expecting much more from life than they actually give. You know what I'm trying to say? So this is not good for me, and I feel like if we are trying to build society on something like this, it's gonna collapse in months, not even
Well,
years. It's gonna
so,
collapse in months.
but you know that democratic worker co-ops exist right now, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah,
And do you know like the data that and research that's been done on them? Because I do. And
please tell
generally,
me.
people who work at democratic worker co-ops tend
Hmm.
to make more money than their counterparts in other privatized
Yes,
businesses.
because we are talking about, as I said before.
Can I
I'm sorry
finish,
for
please?
inter. Yes, please, please. Yes,
Um,
sorry about that.
they tend to be around either 9 to 14% more efficient, meaning they produce more.
Hmm.
They also tend to have happier employees because the people who work there have some say and agency in their working conditions. And
And how?
on top of that, they usually have some sort of buy in to the success of the company. Whereas, like, if you work at Walmart right now, you make a flat wage, and it really doesn't matter whether or not your particular store does well or does poorly. Whereas people in democratic worker co-ops often get paid a cut or some percentage of what the company makes. So what ends up happening is that this motivates people to work harder, which is
Mhm.
usually where people find that the 9% to 14% more efficiency comes from, because people are
Okay, but
working
the
harder because
mhm.
they get paid more if they contribute more.
And what you said right now is a beautiful example of capitalism. If people work harder,
But
they
it's
get much
not,
more
because
money.
the workers are controlling their means of production. So what I advocate for is essentially keeping the market structures that we have, but transitioning away from privatized businesses to worker co-op to democratic worker co-ops. That way we keep the market system, people
But the,
still keep
mhm.
going to work, people still keep contributing in that way, but we have all the benefits of democratic worker co-ops, and the workers, by via those mechanisms, effectively control the means of production, which makes it socialist.
Okay, but do you think that actually the workers they can? Sorry, my microphone is too close.
It's all good.
That they can take care of themselves,
I mean,
like.
in competitive circumstances, democratic worker co-ops seem to outperform private businesses, so I think
See,
so.
but you're using a very good word here, democratic.
Yeah.
And democratic is like completely opposite of socialism.
Wait, how so?
Social, socialism.
Because
Well,
I need to remind you that my definition of socialism is not an authoritarian state-controlled economy. My definition of socialism is what it's supposed to be, which is workers controlling the means of
so
production.
you're not talking about socialism. You're talking
Well,
about
no, that's
communism.
literally what socialism means.
No, no, you are talking about communism right now,
No,
because
no.
socialism is a
So
plant
do you want to
government.
know the difference between socialism
Can
and
I finish?
communism?
Can I
No.
finish, please?
This is really important.
Okay.
Socialism is workers controlling the means of production plus
Hmm.
decommodifying portions of the economy.
Mhm.
If you add a third category, that makes it communism, and that category is dissolution of the state. That makes
But
it
this is not
communist.
completely true. This is not completely true. What you are saying right now, that socialism is a part of democracy,
Yeah.
is like completely opposite things.
No, it's
Okay,
not. See, no, where you're getting hung up here and is that you are comparing it to historically what we have called socialism when it comes to the Eastern Bloc or communism when it comes to China. That this is where you're hanging your hat, and that's not what the actual terms mean, because again, workers were not controlling the means of production in any of those countries. The state was controlling the means of production, which is
but
not what
exactly
socialism is.
how do you want workers to control the means of production?
Yeah,
Exactly.
through
How do you want it to do?
through democratic worker co-ops.
But it's not gonna work in the long term.
Yeah,
There's no such a possibility that it's gonna work
why? Democratic worker co-ops work just fine right now.
because it's a human nature.
But they work.
In this democratic worker co-op,
Yeah, they
there's
they
always gonna be some people
but
who
they
wants more
but
and
they
more
work
and more.
but they work just fine right now. Like
They
they
are fine just right
exist.
now. Yes, they are fine just now.
Yeah.
But wait till they get a bit more. They're not gonna act the same.
Why
This is the
wait,
thing.
why would they stop acting the same?
I'm sorry, but Jack, you're completely missing the point. What I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that people are laughing at me. Okay, I don't worry, chat. Maybe my English is not good enough to explain my feelings. I'm sorry about that. If someone we can parler français. If someone is missing my point, but I'm trying to say that socialism is a don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful thought. It's a beautiful thought. And I read Marx and
Hmm.
Engels. How you say?
Yeah, it's all
I'm
good.
sorry. Okay, Engels, the Communist Manifest. It's a man. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful. I wish people could be like this. Really wish, because I wish everyone is born on the same level. You know, everyone is equal. Everyone is going this
But
through life on the same path.
but
I really wish
why
it can be
don't
like that.
democratic worker co-ops work if you do more of them?
Look, I'm not really into US like democratic workers unions, as you said. I'm not really into this. I cannot say a lot of things about your country, but I'm saying as I know it. And for example, in France, where I used to live, it's a democratic, but it's really left winged. Okay, left wing government.
Well, I'm not talking about the
And
government though. I'm talking about
mhm.
individual democratic worker co-ops
Okay, but
instead of private businesses.
what do you mean by that? Like, do you want workers to rule all the country, or do you want the
No,
anarchy?
I just want them to control their workplace. Like right now, if you had like a factory in the United States, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Instead of it being owned by one or like a small group of people at the top, I would want everyone who works at the factory to collectively
Hmm.
own the factory via a democratic worker co-op.
Oh, but
So
why
this
would they? But why would they? Why would they?
well
I don't understand the point.
because again
Because they're working there.
well yeah, but because a they would make more money, they're generally happier,
Okay,
9 to 14% more efficient. Um, they tend not to want to move the
okay,
factory overseas.
this data you're telling me now,
Yeah,
it's completely out of point because. Would you expect, for example, a postman to own a piece of the post office where he works at?
sure, why not?
Why? But why? He's
Because
only an employee.
he would he would have all kinds of benefits. Why would he not want to do that?
But he's already having a benefits, don't he?
But he's not having as many benefits as he could have, and he doesn't have any say
Like
over his like job
okay,
or working
okay,
conditions.
okay. So what kind of benefits exactly?
Well, for example, you could be like, "Hey, I found a better way to do my route. Can I would like to change how I do my route?"
Yeah, but you can always
Or
speak to your supervisor, don't you?
yeah, but also if that supervisor says you have to lick shit off a doorknob or you're
Uh
fired, you
huh.
got to do it or you're fired. In a
Yeah, but if
democratic worker co-op, you can
okay, but
say
if you want
you
to
have
amplify,
recourse.
if you want to do these things that you're telling me now,
Hmm.
we would have to in a perfect world, okay? We would have to live in a perfect world. And as I said before, and I'm gonna repeat myself, I really think that socialism or communism is a beautiful thought. Don't get me wrong, I'm not like the anti-socialism or anti-communist person. Okay,
Hmm.
I said it's
I'm not getting
not
that sense from
possible.
you. It's okay.
I'm saying it's not possible. It's not possible to do this kind of things in a society that we society that we have now. Is not possible,
Why?
and because this is a humankind. For example, okay, let's say you own a house, okay,
Hmm. Yeah.
and someone goes into your house and say, okay, I'm living here now. Would
Well,
you
I
find it okay?
do you remember when I said that's literally
Yes, I
not what I would
remember.
want? Yeah.
Yes, I remember. But would you like? Can you say it now?
Yeah.
Would you say it's okay?
No.
Okay, it's not okay. So the communism
Hmm.
out of the table
Why?
because you just said you don't want to share your property. You don't
Do
want
you
to
know the
share.
difference between personal property and private property?
What do you mean by that?
Well, personal property is like the stuff you own, whereas private property is in the communist sense is usually meant to refer to capital. So like
Okay, but
factories and such.
yeah, but like estate that you own, like a flat, for example.
Yeah, that would be personal property.
Yeah, it's a personal property.
Yeah.
But in communism, there is no personal property.
No, in communism there's no private property. There's still personal
I
property.
have you actually read Marx and Engels?
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you know
you did.
do you not know the difference between personal and private property?
And do you remember what they said and the end of the book?
Uh I don't know exactly to what you're referring to, so
Yes.
please enlighten
So
me.
they said that this is the perfect world they would like to live in.
Mhm.
Like this is the somehow we call it now utopia from
Mhm.
Greek because it's the perfect society. And man, I'm telling you, everyone would love to live in this kind of society. Everyone, me too, man, me too. I'm not even. Don't get me wrong, wrong, please. I'm a bit. I'm very stoned right now.
It's all
So
good.
people might not get my point, but I'm just trying to say. I'm gonna like trying to get in one thought now. That this is not gonna work in future because the human nature is that you want to possess something. You want to have something on your own. You don't want to share. You don't want to share your success because you worked on it, not other people. You very yourself. You
Yeah.
worked on them.
Yeah. You deserve.
So
I agree. You
mhm,
deserve the full fruits of your labor. I agree.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. That's the thing.
Mhm.
So you cannot tell me that, for example, is not fair for I don't know. You said the Amazon guy, right?
Mhm.
It's not fair for him to be one of the wealthiest people on the world. It might sound not fair for us, but
Well, no.
somehow he got
In
into this
his Marx
position.
in the if we're talking about how Marx viewed the world, then I need to point out that in Marx's view of the world, Jeff Bezos did jack shit to get his job. All he did was
Mhm.
own things, and by owning things, make money. That's not working. That's not
Okay,
working
but
in the same way
what's
you worked to make it to where you are today.
mhm.
It's not working in the way that I worked to get to where I am today. Instead, he was able to own things, and by owning them,
But was he
extract
more?
more profit out of people than has
Uh-huh.
ever been extracted out of people before.
Was he born in a rich family? The guy from Amazon?
I have no idea, but I don't care because I'm against people getting wealthy just by owning things. I would rather people get wealthy
Okay, but
because they worked hard.
okay, but
That's what you want.
for example, let's say, uh, it's an example, yeah. Let's say this guy, for example, we're not talking about specific person from Amazon right now, okay? So let's say this guy from Amazon, he grew up in a very poor family, okay?
Hmm.
And somehow he invented this idea to make this Amazon thing. like
Mm-hmm.
worldwide, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And he became very like disgusting rich.
Oh, and he did this
Do
all
you,
by himself?
yes, let's
Oh,
say he
okay.
did it all by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's fair or not fair?
What what would be fair? If he did all of the work on it, then I would say that's
Hmm.
fair. But
But do
he
you need,
but
do
he didn't
you,
do all of the work on it.
are okay? But it's not possible to do all of the
Yeah,
work because he needs to
exactly.
hire the employees. Yeah.
Exactly. He
Uh
can't
huh.
achieve it without working with other people, which
Yes.
is why
But
socialism addresses that.
yes, but I think if it's a free market, like people can get whatever the job they want. Yeah. They
Well, wait,
can
I can get
seek.
whatever job I
Mhm.
want.
If you try hard.
Wait,
Yes, I think so.
I can go out right now and apply to be CEO of Amazon?
Well, are you qualified to be CEO of Amazon?
I have no idea.
Well, you need to answer yourself. If you feel
Well, but
confident
you
in
said I
yourself,
can go out, it's a free market. I can get any job I want.
well, it is free market. For example, if
But if
you,
it wait,
for example, have
if
a
I can't
degree
go
in law, okay,
but
but
if I
you're
can't go get
completely
that
missing my
job, then it's
point
not
now.
free, right? Because there
But
are
you're
jobs I can't apply for.
nah. It's you're completely missing my point now. For
No,
example,
I'm
let's
taking
say
your
you
idea to
graduate,
a
you
logical
graduate.
extent.
Okay, so let's say you graduate in law, yeah.
Let's say I don't graduate in law though.
Okay, but you
here's the
didn't
point
graduate in
here's
law.
the point I'm trying to make. If you're poor from an inner city in Atlanta in the United
Hmm.
States saying, "Well, it's a free job market, you can go out and get a better job." That doesn't mean diddly squat
Okay,
to you because
okay,
you're
yes.
trapped in the middle of Atlanta, dirt poor, unable to go anywhere, and the best job you can get to like
Okay,
help
but
your
what?
mom pay her cancer bills is like working at McDonald's and then
Yeah,
working
but this is.
at an Uber. Like no matter how hard you work
Hmm.
in that situation, you're not going to be able to dig yourself out of it because the way capitalism, when
Hmm.
taken to its logical extent,
And what socialism would do with it?
destroys you.
What kind of what socialism would do with this kind of situation? For example, your mom have a cancer.
Hmm.
You're working as Uber driver. What socialism would do with this?
Well,
Please explain me because I don't understand.
well, for one thing, it would decommodify her medical bills, so you wouldn't have to pay the expenses of treating her.
But I
On
already agree
Yep,
agreed with you
you,
on
but you
this.
asked me the question, so I'm answering it.
Hmm.
So please let me answer. Um, so it would take care of the medical bills, so you would have less economic burden on yourself. On top of that, you would be able to go and get a college degree because you would be able to have access to education because the cost of living would be otherwise subsidized by decommodified like food, shelter, etc., etc. So on top of that, then whatever field you go into to get your job, you have bargaining power against the rest of your worker co-op because you can go in and like everyone is open and transparent about how much money they make and you can advocate for a better wage for yourself.
But
So
what's stopping you? What's
this is
stopping you? What's stopping you from applying for a better job? For example, even if you're uneducated and you're working as Uber,
in again
taxi.
in capitalism
Hmm.
you are limited by the amount of jobs that you have access to by your
Oh
education
no.
yeah, wait,
No.
so I can go out and become CEO of Amazon? Holy shit,
If you
guys, I can become CEO of Amazon.
but you're completely missing the point here. What I said before, I said it like
Wait, what's
multiple
stopping me
times.
from going out and getting a better job?
You are not qualified enough.
Oh, well, then what?
Okay,
Wait, why
then
does that?
okay,
How does
let's
that help
okay,
somebody who's in a
okay.
situation where they
For
can't
example,
become
let's go,
qualified?
okay. You go for example for a restaurant. Okay, you work as a waiter.
Hmm.
Then you are promoted to manager. Then you're promoted to
Wait,
general manager.
what if you're
Let's
never
say
promoted?
it means you're not trying enough,
Well,
or you don't have a
but wait,
personality to
there's only
become
one
manager.
manager job, right? Like everyone can't be promoted to manager.
Okay, so it's survival of the fittest.
Wait, so you want
I'm
to live in a
sorry, but
society where you get fucked if you aren't able to perform well?
what
what
do
if
you
you
mean by that?
well, I mean, what if you
Okay,
break your
so
leg and you can't
but
work
this
as effectively as a server?
but this is
Like no,
I'm sorry,
you're
but
advocating for survival of the
hmm
fittest in this
yeah,
situation. So
exactly,
like
exactly.
so if
But
you
I'm not
break
saying
your
survival of
leg,
the
you're
fittest. Like,
fucked. And by your logic, that's good. So like why would I want to live in that kind of society?
okay, so I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't get your point of view, as
I
you
mean,
said,
my
because
point of view is that when you work at a company, you should be paid the value of your
Okay. Oh,
labor.
sorry. Yeah, sorry. My girlfriend woke up.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah. Please continue.
But like the point being, I think that when you work for a place, you should be paid the value of your labor or as close to the value of your
Exactly.
labor that you can make, which doesn't happen under capitalism. That doesn't
Okay.
happen.
So, but I don't understand how do you want me to tell you? To
Well,
tell me how
so
would it work under socialism?
but
For
like
example, okay. So
under democratic
how much should, for example, Walmart employee earn a
well,
month? Let's
here
say
here's the
five
thing.
thousand, six
Hey,
thousand.
can I finish answering your question?
Please.
Okay. So in a democratic worker co-op, you would be able to talk with the rest of your company, make the case for how much you believe that you should make, and you would have some share of the profits of the wider company because you're contributing labor to that company's success.
Yes, but a lot of companies they actually do that, you know.
But a lot of them don't, and a lot of them don't have the agency,
Okay, so do we
which is
have?
why a lot of
Okay, so mhm.
pieces of the market or companies need labor unions to advocate for better
Okay, so
working
do we have
conditions.
like a half socialism, half capitalism right now? What you trying to say, or
What?
is it like the current economy, for example, in the U.S.
Hmm.
Is it like part of socialism and part of capitalism at the same time?
No, it's
Okay,
completely capitalistic.
completely capitalistic. All right, I get it. So,
Yeah, like part of the problem is
for
when
example,
you're
once you
talking.
become a,
I need to
let's
finish my
say,
point. Um,
okay,
Part of the problem is that capitalism by nature goes beyond the government and breaks laws in order to make
mhm.
more profits. We see that all the time in the United States. We see it all the time in Europe. We see it all day everywhere. Corruption in the government, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That
Okay,
is
so let's say
incentivized
once
by
you
the capitalist system. And so over time, the restrictions on capitalism erode. You can see
so
this in like how like the UK privatized their railway systems. Um, and this actually hurts how these public systems perform when they become
okay,
privatized. So,
so are you trying to say, sorry, are you trying to say that once someone become, for example, factory worker,
mhm.
he cannot like climb up this magical
Can every
ladder?
factory worker climb up?
But what do you mean climb? Everyone. What do
Can
you mean everyone?
all workers in the factory get
But
promoted?
how do you want everyone to climb up?
That's my point though. I We need to set up a
But
system whereby the
But
people on the bottom cannot be exploited
if
by the
we
people
make
at the top.
everyone climb up, there's not gonna be climbing up. It's still gonna be on the same level.
Yeah.
You don't get me.
No. The point I'm making is that we need to have a system that ensures the people at the bottom aren't being crushed by the people at the top.
Yes, then this is a very bad thing. But
And that's what
I don't
happens in capitalism.
I don't think this is a true ideology of capitalism to crush
Wait,
these
wait,
little
do you
humans
Yeah,
on the
no,
very bottom
that's
of the
exactly what
society
capitalism
ladder.
does.
I don't think so. No.
Wait, then
I
why does
actually
Walmart
think
pay poverty wages to the people who work here in the United
but
States
they
and put
but
them on
they
food
agreed
stamps?
on this. Look, you are a free
Because they have
person,
wait,
okay?
do you know
No,
what
no, no,
happens
no.
in
You are a
rural
free.
America?
Okay,
Do you know what
okay. So you
I
see, the thing is,
I need to
no,
finish this
I need
point.
to finish as
I'm going
well.
to
I need
mute
to
you cuz I
finish.
need to finish this point.
Oh, perfect.
So, the here's how it works in rural America, right? In rural America, if you are poor, you can't leave rural America because you don't have the money to leave. So what ends up happening is people in the United States get trapped in their local community. And when that happens, it creates like a little bubble that they can't escape from. So what ends up happening is Walmart comes in, builds a new shiny new store, and because Walmart has access to billions and billions and billions of dollars of resources, can undercut the costs of every other business in town and run them out of business, leaving only Walmart to work at. So when you're saying like, oh, just go get a better job, a lot of the people who work at Walmart for poverty wages don't have the freedom to go get another job. So this is a small example of how capitalism comes in, destroys other businesses, so that it can monopolize a market, and then essentially take away the choice from people who might otherwise take different jobs. So that's the only point I'm trying to make. I'm sorry I muted you. I'm about to unmute you and go.
Am I unmuted now?
Yep.
Wow, thank you. So what you're saying right now is not a. Please don't misunderstand these things. It's capitalism and corporatism.
Hmm.
Corporatism. The things are going now with this big supermarkets, for example. This is very bad things. But on the other hand, you said this beautiful example of a village that people are, for example, unemployed, and then the Walmart opens, and they all go to work for Walmart, and they earn a minimum wage, for example. Yeah,
Hmm.
but this is their choice. Look, no one is forcing you to go there. This is the thing. In capitalism, you're a free person. I don't know if you
Do
ever
you,
heard
do
about
you,
it.
do
I know,
you believe in
but can
coercion?
you let me? But can you let me finish, please? I haven't finished my sentence yet. Thank you. So I'm trying to say that you said that Eastern Bloc in 80s, 70s, 90s, whatever, Europe is not a example of the socialism. Yeah, but you know that in these countries, in this particular time, 70s, 80s, 90s, you were actually forced by law to work at anything, like factory, store, whatever. You had to work. If you didn't work, you had to pay a fee. You had to work. And this is how we're gonna end in socialism, because the socialism economy is not gonna work. You cannot put all workers on the same level, because no one can like judge whoever is working harder or less harder to earn their wages. This is not possible to judge by anyone. And you cannot compare the supermarket employee to a CEO of Amazon. This is two completely different words. Two completely different words. The person who is a CEO of Amazon, I bet he has like a 10,000 more knowledge, and he has like 5,000 more experience to rule a company or anything, to get more money. And this is the beauty thing of capitalism, that you can become, then you can start as a worker and you can climb up. And no, not everyone can climb up. That's the thing. This is the thing in human nature. No, not everyone can climb up. It's not possible, because people are not equal, like even mentally or anything. Some people, they are very lazy, they don't want to do anything in their lives. And some people, they are like fighting for a better tomorrow. You know what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
They're fighting for a better day. They're like trying very, very hard, working, studying at the same time. And you cannot expect from these people to have the same pay, because come on, someone gave more of themselves. Because what I think, like deep
Remember when I
inside
said
me,
I didn't mean that everyone gets
socialism,
paid the same?
yes, but
Yeah.
for me, socialism is for a very lazy people, because you feel like you're entitled to get something. But the truth of reality and the truth of life is that you're not entitled to do shit. I'm sorry for my
Oh,
language,
wait,
but you're not
wait,
entitled to
you
get
believe
anything.
that people should have their health care paid for.
Yes,
Why?
yes, I said it before. I
Why?
said it before.
But you
I
you
said
just said
because,
people aren't entitled to shit. So why do you believe people
yes,
should have their health care paid for?
because you're catching my how you say, sorry, 1 minute, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Non plus long. Oui.
Hello, Raiders. What's up? How's it going, Altered Rim?
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, my girlfriend woke up. She said that I'm
No
too loud.
worries.
Yeah, but the thing is, I said there are certain things in human lives that we need to protect. Okay,
Why?
this is health and living. For
Why?
example, as I said, because we are humankind. Okay,
Wait, but
don't
why
you think?
why
Okay,
why wait, no, 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 no,
so
no. I need to finish my question.
mhm.
Why do
Okay,
you think
please.
people are entitled to health care and disability like services, but you don't think people should be entitled to anything else? Why is it just those two
Okay,
things?
this is gonna be a very long sentence for me, but I'm a Christian Catholic, Roman Catholic, and I feel that everyone's life should be protected. Okay, and we have a specific people to take care of the people's lives. Okay, and you shouldn't be like considered poor or rich whenever it comes to saving your life, for example, because this is absolutely crucial to keep you alive. Because I think in thousands of years we on this planet we developed certain skills, and one of these are empathy. Okay, but on the other hand, when it comes to earnings, no one is forcing to be unemployed. No one is forcing to work in a Walmart. You can always go to college. You can always go
No,
to
wait, you
university.
can't always go to college or university.
You can
Most
go. Of
most
course, you can
most
go. You
people
can
in the
take a
United
student
States,
loan.
most people in the
Mhm.
United States can't afford college or university.
Okay, but even if you, I don't know how it's in. We call it.
For most people here, it costs like $50,000
Okay,
to
so
go to
can you please
college.
briefly tell me what's the education system in the US like?
You get free education up until high school, and
Hmm.
then after high school, you have to pay for anything else.
Okay, so high school you finish when you're at what age? 16, 18?
18.
18. So you have somehow of education, right? And with this education, do you think that it's possible to find like a better job than Walmart, for example?
I mean, it depends on where you live. In most places in the United States,
Okay,
honestly,
so let's
no.
say you live. Okay, so I'm sorry for a private question. Where do you live?
I live in Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay, so let's Minnesota. Do you think that a person after 18 years old, finishing only the public schools, can he go for a better job than Walmart, or is
General,
not possible at all?
it again, it depends on where you live in Minnesota. There are many, many, many places in Minnesota where if you are born in a town, you're going to die in
Mhm.
that town because you don't have the money to leave that town.
Okay, but on the other hand, don't you think that if you're really like motivated deep inside you to
Wait,
do something
how
with
does
your
being
life?
motivated deep inside get you more hours to work?
Okay, nowadays everyone has a computer. Okay, let's say. So what's stopping you, for example, from learning? I don't know. Let's say programming. What's stopping you?
Probably time.
Time. But if you're unemployed,
Most people are employed though. Like that's kind of where
so
your logic
somehow they
that's
got
where
a
your
job. Yeah.
logic kind of falls apart though because most people in the United States are unemployed or are employed.
Okay.
The issue is that they continue to be poor despite working full-time jobs.
Okay, but as I said it before, I was the same because I
Yeah, but
graduated.
you lived in different conditions with different opportunities. And what I'm trying to explain to you is that not everyone had access to the same opportunities, to the same environmental
But I
conditions that
didn't
you
have
did.
these opportunities as well. I was fighting for them.
But not everybody gets them even if they fight for them. That's the problem, and that's kind of what you're missing here is that a lot of people do put in a lot of effort. I've known
Hmm.
people who have worked 40 years doing back-breaking labor and never got advanced to like a management position. They
But
they
don't you think it's
they
the fault
worked
of their character?
harder than most people on the planet and they barely made enough money to live. And that's the problem because I think
You know
that
what?
they deserve to be paid enough and the problem is that under capitalism because rich assholes who sit on their asses all day
Hmm.
are at the top, they are able to press a button that makes that guy's life infinitely worse on a whim so that they can make more money.
But you know what? I'm really missing the thing that you're saying paid enough. What does it mean paid enough?
to be
I
able
don't, I
to
don't, I
they
don't
like
understand this.
to be able to live. Most people in the United States, you say you came here with $200 in your pocket to Canada, and
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you were able to make it in Canada, that's awesome. Part of the problem is in the United States, most people only have $400 in their bank account to for unexpected things. Most people don't have the money to put into a new business. Most people don't have the ability to get up and move somewhere. Most people don't have the ability to go get a college education. Most people in this country wind up locked down to where they are until they die. And there's no amount of hard work that will get them out of it. Their hard work goes entirely to treading water, to making sure they don't die.
I just
And
looked on the chat.
the one thing I need to point to before we continue on is like the idea that people have gotten lazier or get lazier is absolute lunacy, because like we are more productive now than we ever have been in the history of like the human race. The United States is like 50 times more productive than it was in like the 1970s. And if the average wage had kept track, for your information, the average wage in the United States is around $33,000. If it had kept track with our productivity in the United States, the average wage would be around $100,000. So like
Okay,
people are not getting paid for their work, and that is a feature of capitalism, not a bug. And that's part of the problem here. I want to solve the problem, and that problem is capitalism, so that people can get paid what they actually are worth.
okay, okay. So I don't know. It might sound dumb, but can you tell me, for example, you live in Minnesota, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, any big town in Minnesota? You can tell me now.
I would rather not, but I live near
Okay,
Minneapolis.
okay. So are you familiar how much is the rent? For example, if you want to rent like a studio flat,
Yeah, it would be like $1,500 a month.
$1,500 a month,
Yeah.
and how much the person at Walmart earns in Minnesota? Like,
I don't know what is the minimum wage these days. Minimum wage, Minnesota, $9.86 per hour. So
but it's
let's
gross, not take home, yeah?
what? Oh yeah,
Is it gross or is it take home?
well
Do you
let's
pay any
see.
taxes in the US or
You do pay taxes.
okay?
But let's just say that
It's gross. Okay, people say it's
$4.
gross.
All right,
So
so you'd make about
okay,
$1,500.
$1,500, and the flat is $1,500.
Yep,
That's a bad thing.
yep.
How much is the room? For example, a single room.
I mean, the single room again.
Yeah.
If you're living in like the shittiest place in town, maybe
hmm
like $800 a month.
A room,
Yeah,
like a single room.
yeah.
Okay, so this is the fucked up thing in the US. See, this is the problem of the US. This is not
No,
the problem of
no,
capitalism.
that's capitalism. People are
No, because
people force you to pay as much money as they possibly can for their product
yes, but
because
they
you
own
need
it,
it,
so
you
they
have
can
to
call
pay it.
whatever. Yes, exactly.
That's
That's the good point you said.
capitalism.
Yes, exactly. Yes, because if you would own a property, you would take as much as you possibly could from it, right?
Yeah,
You wouldn't like to give it for free.
yeah. So we should
You would
change
look on the
that
market.
system.
Yeah, but this is what I said before. You would have to completely change the
Yeah.
nature of a humankind
Wait,
to do
what?
this.
Wait. Where are you
Or
getting this?
the force government,
Where are you getting this
or the
research
force
on like
government.
human nature, on
No,
humankind?
but come on, if you can get okay, so let's say uh, if you can take $600 a month from a very poor person, or you can get like $1,000 a month for a room for a rich person,
Hmm.
who would you rather pick?
Well,
Would
under
you rather take
capitalism,
600? Yes, in your
under
capital,
capitalism, you would go with the
six
one
hundred
that's
a month.
more.
Yes, exactly. And this is what people do. They want more money.
That's why we need to change capitalism.
But you can't like force socialism into people.
Why? They force capitalism into people
But people agreed on this somehow.
because
People
they
still
so
agree
wait,
on
wait.
this
Do you
somehow.
think that it is do you know what coercion is?
Sorry?
Do you know what coercion is?
I'm afraid I'm not. No.
Okay, so if somebody points a gun at you and says, I will shoot this gun into your face
Uh huh.
unless you do what I say, that would be a form of coercion, right?
Yeah. All right. All right.
So coercion can exist outside of direct threats of violence. They can be indirect threats of violence, right?
Mhm.
So, like, a mobster comes to your place of work and says, this is a nice place of business. Be a shame if something happened to it. Anyway, pay me $400." Like, that's an indirect threat of violence
Mhm.
because they're
Mhm.
not saying they're going to come and destroy your place of business, but they are saying it. So under capitalism, there is an indirect coercion going on because if you aren't able to buy these things, say food, then you are going to starve to death. If you aren't
Okay. So
able
for
to pay for a place to live, then you might die of exposure in like the rain or the cold. And so like there is an implicit threat to everyone under capitalism where if you are not contributing, if you are not doing your job and working, that you will either suffer or die as a result of not being able to perform. And I like fundamentally object to that being a way that we get labor out of people.
I understand your point. Yes. But on the other hand, if you can explain me, how would you change people's point of view nowadays?
Well, so
How would you make socialism works? Because I'm one of these people
mhm,
who want to keep the current state of economy as it is now. Because I you can disagree with me. That's perfectly fine. We are having a conversation now. You can disagree with me now, but if I want to keep it the same way as it is now, how would you change it from the very beginning?
mhm,
What would you do to make people, the workers, you're focusing on workers,
mhm.
how would you make them equal, accept these unions?
Well,
Because
so do you,
you cannot, as I said, sorry, let me finish. Because as I said before, you cannot like give them more money just because they're workers. You cannot just pay them more
why people who own things get more money for just because
because
they own things?
okay, you know the thing is that the company that make they need to make money themselves as well, right?
Yeah, but
The
we
company
already know
itself,
that they make way more money than they
yeah.
need.
Okay, but what do you mean by they need? You earn more, you need more.
But
That's
wait, they're not
natural. For
earning
example,
things; they're
okay,
just owning
okay,
something.
okay. So if you're, for example, let's say I'm an average guy. I don't earn much. I'm not like a very fucking rich. I'm sorry for the language. I'm
It's all
not a
good.
very rich person, right? And I drive a car that is like 12 years old. Okay.
Hmm.
I have a BMW, very old car, and I drive it. And for me, that's more than enough. Okay, I feel like this is okay. This is what I deserve now.
Yeah.
So, what's stopping people from thinking like me? I don't understand this point of view. For example, I know that I recently
Yeah, wait,
graduated. I cannot
but wait,
explain.
why are you applying this to workers instead of applying it to the capital owners?
But what do
What
you mean? If
what is
they,
stopping Jeff Bezos from living like you?
but why would he?
Why
If he
but
runs a
he
company like this,
because he
why would he
doesn't
be like
need
me?
all of that extra stuff. And
Okay, but
he
for
doesn't
example, I
actually
doesn't.
do the work for it. His workers
Okay, but
do.
okay, But I don't need, for example, I don't need for my living. I don't need an Xbox. I don't need a PlayStation. I don't need a Nintendo. I don't even need a car
Do you
to
remember
make my
what I
living.
was talking about when we were talking about like the inner city kids and how they're
Yeah,
not
but
able to
you're
like
talking.
go and get a job?
But I feel like you're talking about like crucial things that you need to have in your life, like a
Yeah.
flat,
Yeah.
food,
Yeah.
and some other things.
Yeah.
And now you're
Most
talking
people
about
have trouble
stopping this
affording
guy
those
from.
things. We right now in the United States there are 40 million people on the verge of homelessness because they
And
couldn't
this is a very
afford
sad fact.
the
Very
economic
sad.
conditions of COVID-19.
And I agree with you. The lockdown, it hit us all.
Yeah. But
It's terrible.
my point being is that that exposes how poorly these workers are being treated when they are the ones who are the bedrock that builds the wealth for all of the people who have more money than we could possibly imagine.
but the employees somehow they agreed on this. Look, I
Okay,
said
wait, but
before,
wait, but
we
wait,
are a
wait,
free
wait. Were they
person,
not
but
coerced
you're not.
into their positions? Were they coerced into their positions? Because if they were, then that agreement doesn't mean shit. Because if
But
they
look,
if they refuse to take those positions and they wind up homeless or dead, is that really like a free choice that they made?
yeah, it is your free choice. Exactly, you're
Okay,
a
so
free
so
human being,
living in slavery was a free choice.
but this is a completely
No,
different
no,
thing.
wait, how is that a
Completely
different
different.
thing? How is it a
It's
different thing is
completely.
if you
How
don't
can you compare a
wait, if
slavery?
you don't if in this situation, if you don't accept this job, you are going to wind up homeless or dead. So you're either
And
going to be
you
suffering
never have
or
a
you're going to
situation
be
like
dead.
this. You
In
never have.
America this happens quite often. So I'm
I
I'm
can.
te- I'm I'm telling you that this happens, okay? In America it happens. Now,
Okay, so you have a
let me
choice.
finish.
In the
Let me
US.
finish. So this happens in America. What is the meaningful difference between that situation that is fairly common in America and the difference between slavery, where you have someone standing next to you who will kill you if you refuse to do your job?
But are the are the like a big corporations are they like threatening you that
Yes,
they're gonna
they're
kill
they're
you?
they're threatening
You
you with your
work for them.
economic circumstances.
Oh man, but but this is
Again,
see.
there are tens of millions of homeless people or people on the verge of homelessness right now. If they don't go out and do work in a deadly pandemic, they will be on the street starving and dying. So
But
is
are we
that
talking
not
about like
coercion? Is
are we
that
talking
not
about
coercion?
homeless people now or
No,
the
I'm
people
talking
who
about
might become
there are
homeless?
40 million people on the verge of being homeless right now who are
All right,
being forced to go to work in the middle of a deadly pandemic, or they will be homeless and starving and dying. So like, is that not coercion to you? Is that free choice to go to work?
to be honest, yes, it
Really?
is.
So
Yes,
to you slavery isn't like a real thing.
mm, it's not.
Okay.
The modern
So
slavery for
so
me is like
wait, no,
forcing
no, I'm
12.
talking it's
But see,
exactly the same as
you won't
old
let me
school
you
slavery.
won't let me finish my sentence.
All right. Go for it.
So for me,
I
what
want you to
slavery
explain
we
to
are
me how slavery is not real.
okay. So for you ask me what slavery is, so I'm telling you now that slavery for me is that forcing 12 years old kids from Uganda or Zimbabwe or whatever they come from to work in a coal mines or diamond
That's
mines,
capitalism
whatever.
though.
This is a no. This is slavery. This is a completely different thing.
It's
Don't no no please don't. This is a completely different thing. They're forcing them. They're basically forcing them to go there.
but they could choose not to, right?
But they are kids. Come on.
They could choose not to, right?
It's a difference between a kid and like a grown
So
adult.
so if you're forcing adults to go mine diamonds or killing them, then that's not slavery. It's only
But,
slavery if they're children.
okay, but did anyone ever come to you and say you need to work in a coal mine
No,
or
but
you're gonna die?
I it is an implicit threat in capitalism that if you don't do your work, you starve and die on the street.
But it would be
We
the
all
same.
are
Socialism.
we're
What's
all
the
aware
difference?
of this threat.
Okay,
You
so in
literally lived
socialism,
on the street for like 3
okay, so
days.
in socialism, the leader of the party, the Socialist Party, tells you, you belong in the coal mine. Go
Why do you
and
think
dig it.
people were enslaved under capitalism?
Okay, but first thing, let me please answer me my question. There's a leader of Socialist Party, for example, yeah, and he tells you go dig coal. You belong in a coal mine.
But that's not how socialism that's not how the socialism I've been talking about this entire time would work.
Okay, but what kind of socialism is this?
I market
Because
socialism.
it's like
I've told you like
it
3
seems,
times.
but a
It would
market socialism
yeah,
is like government controlled socialism.
no, it
It
is
is.
individual
Otherwise, it's an anarchy.
it is individual democratic worker co-ops doing business like private businesses do now, just with more democratic control over the workplace.
Okay, but it's gonna go for anarchy, and it's
Why?
gonna because it's gonna be like this. Because if you want everyone to rule themselves by their own,
Wait, do you
it's
think
gonna
democracy is just anarchy? Do you think democracy isn't real as like a governmental structure?
okay, but okay, we have a democracy now, yeah,
Yeah.
And somehow most of the people they work for a certain party that fits them. Yeah, they do, right?
You understand that when I'm talking about democracy, I'm talking
I
about the
understand.
entire system, not the individual parties within democracy, right? So, do you think democracy works, or are you like some kind of monarchist or like fascist or something like that? Like
I'm not
no
a
no
fascist. I'm
no no
disgusted by
judgment.
fascists.
No like no judgment for whatever your political ideology is. I talk to fascists on my channel, like that's
But
fine if you.
why are you trying to say that I'm
I'm
fascist?
not trying to say that you're a fascist. I just want to know where you're coming from because I need to know whether or not you think democracy is functional.
For me, democracy is very much a functional.
Okay,
It
so then
works perfectly
why
fine.
does it not
And
work
if
for you when you
people,
apply it to a business?
because not the democracy anymore.
Why?
See, the thing that you're missing, you want only people in a bad situation to vote for people in a better situation. And democracy doesn't work like that. It's the majority itself.
Wait,
Okay?
do you know how shareholder meetings work in a private
Mm-hmm.
business?
Please continue. Yeah.
Okay, do you know how they work?
Explain to me, please.
Shareholders all get together once every quarter and dictate, here's what we think the company should do, okay? That
Mm-hmm.
like it should do X, it should do Y, it should do Z, you know? Essentially all I'm advocating for is instead of uh private shareholder meetings, we have democratic shareholder meetings where everyone in the worker co-op gets together once or twice per quarter to dictate what the company's priorities are and how it should operate. That's all I'm advocating for. And I don't know why this is like some sort of mystical, impossible concept for you. It,
But okay, it's not like mystical, but do you
but
think that
you like think it goes contrary to like human nature. But like we have functional democratic worker co-ops right now.
okay, but do you really think that, for example, an average employee at a factory
Hmm.
knows better what's good for a factory, like a company,
Wait,
than a CEO?
do you not think that the
You know,
average worker at that company knows how to do their job better than the CEO might?
but I'm not the eyes know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no,
I'm talking about
you said would the average worker know how that company know how the
what
company
it
works better than the
needs.
CEO? And I'm
What it
telling you that it
needs.
doesn't matter if they know how the whole company works because they know their job better and being able to communicate that with the rest of the company because you're on equal democratic footing with them means that you're better able to advocate for A, your working conditions, and B, like how you're compensated for that work.
But they know how their specific environment works, like how their job works.
Wait,
But
are
they don't
so
know,
but
for example, not
okay,
managing the company. They don't know about they don't
Sets
know
up
about this.
conditions within his company whereby his workers literally work to death until they die from heat stroke and
Who
have
was
to
it?
piss
Sorry,
in bottles. So like are you saying he knows how to do their job better and like
but
this is
who?
just
Who?
Jeff Bezos?
The Amazon guy. All
Yeah,
right, all right,
he
all right.
his the workers in his warehouses die of heat exhaustion and have to piss in bottles to meet their quotas. So are you saying that that's a better way for that company to function, and that's the and you believe you have like human interest at heart and like empathy for people,
I do indeed. Yes.
and you think that they should be pissing themselves and dying of heat exhaustion
No,
in
no,
these
because
warehouses?
if anyone would force myself to do that, I would quit straight away.
So you're saying they're at fault for having to work in those conditions or being homeless and dead on the street.
But they can always. Man, this is the thing. In socialism, if a party tells you to do something because this is how it used to work, I don't know if
But
you're
I'm not
familiar with this.
advocating for that. So why do you keep saying that that's what I'm advocating for?
But okay, but I don't understand what you want to do with the economy. I don't
I
understand.
want to slowly transition away from private businesses to democratic worker
But as I
co-ops.
we need to change completely the
No,
humankind
no.
because everyone
All we need to
possesses
all we
something.
need to do is have a federal loan system to get like small worker co-ops started, and have a system whereby if a large company fails and needs a bailout from the government to continue functioning, they're required to become a democratic worker co-op. That's all
But
we
this is a
need.
completely different thing you're saying now.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
You never let me get to the part where I'm like, yeah, and this is how we would get more democratic worker co-ops. You were like thinking I'm going to Thanos snap them all into existence, and that's not the case at all. All I'm saying is that they perform better, people are happier in them, and so we should incentivize their creation until we're predominantly a democratic worker co-op society, which would
Mhm.
make it a socialist society.
Okay, and so in socialist society, all right, how do you see that?
It would be just like now, except people would have more agency in their workplace.
So you basically want to print more dollar bills for the poor people.
What? When did I say that? How are
No,
you getting that out of anything that I said?
no, because I understand like this. Because how do you want to change it? People who are already wealthy, they have shitloads of money. Sorry for my language. They're not gonna change themselves. They're not gonna change themselves. You cannot force them to change because they're used
I
to
mean,
living on a certain level.
you can if they're coming to the government for a bailout. If they're coming to the government for a bailout and they want to take a bailout to save their
Yeah, but
company
we are
and
talking
turn it
about
to a
bailout because now we have this pandemic, right?
no, we're talking about bailouts because periodically capitalism goes through economic crashes every 5 to 7 years. We've known this. It's literally been happening for like over a century. We bailed out all of the banks in the 2008 crisis in America. Yeah, we printed several trillion dollars to fix that problem, and we just gave it to banks. Why is this suddenly different because we're not giving it to banks and letting them continue doing what they did to fuck up in the first place? Like I
Okay, so you want to give this money that goes to company, you want to give it to workers instead.
no, I want to give it to the company on the condition that they become a worker co-op. And then how they use that money is up to the workers and the other people who are at the company.
But I don't know how to explain
Wait,
this to you.
but like I don't understand the disconnect here because like
Hmm.
it would be exactly what we're doing now. Right
Yeah.
now we
Hmm.
gave like $1 trillion, I don't know how much, to Boeing. It was hundreds of billions of dollars to Boeing to bail them out, like just this year. So why would this be like unconscionable if it was like a democratic worker co-op instead?
But did they ever said it?
But you seem like you have problems with this idea of like
I didn't say
printing money
I
or
even said
like
it.
giving loans to
No, I
companies.
even said it. I even said it before that I support like workers union. They should fight for their rights.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely understandable.
Yeah.
And I said it at the beginning that every human being deserves a dignity in their life and deserves to have enough money to pay for their bills, to pay for their food, things like that. But what I said I don't like about socialism is to make people earn more than they actually deserve. And you getting me wrong because I never said that people who work at factories or who work
But
at
but that happens in capitalism. People make more money than they deserve because they own things. Those are the capitalists. And
but
then
somehow they got
workers,
into the
but then
possessions.
workers don't make as much money as they deserve because they're not being paid the actual value of their labor. That's where the profits that the capitalists
But
take
guys,
go.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna react to chat now. If you allow me, please. Uh, People on the chat, sorry, they say that capitalism doesn't endow with people with dignity,
It doesn't.
and that's what happening under capitalism.
I literally gave you an example of people pissing themselves and dying of heat exhaustion.
Yes, but they're not. See, but you're
And you're just saying that's
trying to
okay
tell
because
me
they were too stupid to
no.
quit.
I did. Oh my God, I didn't. I never said it. I never said it.
That's
I never
kind
said
of
it.
what
I
you
don't know why.
implied. You said you would just
I don't know
quit.
why you're trying to. Oh my God, you're trying to make me look like a terrible
I'm
person now.
I'm not trying to do
I
that. I'm
I
trying to
never said
understand your
it.
point of view.
I once again I'm gonna say it, I find it disgusting. Okay, disgusting for me as a human being that people need to do at their jobs. But I also said, if you don't want to work like this, go and do something with your life. Sorry. Do something. Quit the job. Find another one. I can't believe because I really used to be in a very shit situation,
Can I
and
can I can I
I always found a way out of it. And I don't believe even if you're uneducated, even if you didn't finish this high school, doesn't matter. You're still a human being. You deserve a good life. You
can
deserve a good life,
can I
and I'm
ask
not.
how people are
Mhm.
supposed if they have children or if they have a significant other or somebody that they're taking
Okay, but
care
this
of
is like
with medical bills,
okay,
how are they supposed to
okay,
quit their job when they only have
okay. So we are going.
$400 for
Mhm.
unexpected expenses?
Okay, I understand you now, and this is the other thing I didn't say it before. For me, is every every decision that you make in your life has a big impact on you. Okay, so if you are, it's gonna sound very bad, guys. Please, apologizing now. It's gonna sound very bad, but if you're reckless enough to make a child or a kid, if you're not in a stable financial situation, it is only your fault. Why would society care? It was your decision. No one forced you to have a sexual intercourse with this person.
But again, you're like coming from like such a weird angle for to
No,
me,
I'm not
right?
coming from a
No,
weird
no,
angle.
I
I'm
need to
saying,
explain why I think you're
I'm
coming from
saying
a
that.
weird angle.
Uh,
So
uh,
the because you're coming from it saying that people deserve health care and people deserve
yes,
with disabilities deserve like
yeah,
disability payment or whatever, the ability to live.
hmm I agree.
Why does that empathy stop there and not apply to people who have kids and can't afford to make ends meet because of that? Why does it not extend to
Okay, so
people who are being
let's say,
mistreated by their workplace? Why do you
okay,
not
let's
want a
say
better world for those people?
I want a better word for them.
But that
But on
world
the
is
other
being
hand, you need
undermined by
to,
capitalism.
yes, but on the other hand, you need to believe in people themselves, right? For example, okay, let's say you,
Wait, but
okay?
I could say that
hmm
to undermine, like to talk about both of your arguments. Well,
But I'm not saying
the
about disabled people or sick or
the
old
disabled
people
people should
because
just
this
work
they are not
harder. They
doing
should be more
this on.
ingenuitive.
No, no,
The
no, no,
oh,
no,
if you have
no,
cancer, you should be selling one of your
no,
uncancerous kidneys.
no.
You
This
need to get
what you're saying
smarter.
now. I'm sorry. This is first I'm gonna say what you're saying now is disgusting.
Yeah, it is disgusting, and I'm
It is
trying to make you
disgusting.
see that
No,
your lack
no,
of
no,
empathy for
no.
people in other
This is
situations is also disgusting.
how can you say that when I just said you that my mother died of cancer? How
Because
can you
you
how can
need
you
to
say
have
that to
empathy
me?
for people
I have
who have
big em
children, who
I have
have
big
other conditions. And
I have
instead you're
big
saying go fuck yourself because you made the choice to have kids. And that's so weird to me. I don't
but
understand why your empathy stops.
there's a difference, okay? There's a difference between having a cancer or being disabled or being unfit to work.
In America there's not.
But this is America. I'm talking about world. I'm not talking about only America
And
all the
I'm
time.
saying that in America, America is the future of your socialist bastion, okay?
What you said now, for me, to be honest, maybe it's gonna sound bad, but I'm a bit offended
I mean,
because now you're
that's
putting
fair.
me in a in a
What I'm
place.
trying to
You're
tell
putting me in a
you
place that I would like to kill people with cancer or disabled people
what I'm
because
trying to
they're not worth
what I'm
living.
trying to
Did I
tell you
say
is that
something like that?
capitalists in my country advocate for killing people with cancer so that insurance companies can make more money. So I need you to understand that when I am giving these examples,
And this is very
I'm not
subjective.
doing them hypothetically. I'm saying it because there are actual people right now who live in my country who make profits off of killing people with cancer. And that is the future of other countries that have socialist protections if capitalism is allowed to continue. And that's the fundamental problem.
You're missing the point between socialism in economy and in socialism as a humans. This is completely different thing.
I don't understand the distinction you're trying to make, and
I'm sorry.
I think we've arrived at an impasse. We've talked for a very long time. Do you have
Okay,
any
I
final
understand.
memes? Yeah,
Okay,
I'll give you the
if I
last
can
word.
just say some, yes, please, thank you. Well, to be honest, guys, I'm really sorry to read all these comments because it, I don't know. A lot of you guys, you think I'm a terrible person,
I don't think they
and
think you're a terrible person.
I'm quite sad about that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very sad. Um, you made me look like I don't know. I want to kill vulnerable people or let them die or let them starve. I never said anything like this. In my mind was always to motivate people.
I need to clarify.
Uh,
I do not think you're a bad person. I think you just have an ideology that is misplaced, and I hope that you know, think about it for a while. But
yes,
I,
if
I,
I
I
can,
like you very much, okay? I wouldn't talk to you this long if I didn't.
can I finish, please?
Yeah.
So with this thing that you said about cancer, it actually, I'm not gonna lie, it actually hurt my feelings. I'm sorry. I know people might find it funny, but with these
I've
things,
had people in my life die from cancer too, bud, and they didn't get government subsidized health care. So they went poor and their families went
yes,
poor,
and
okay?
I
So
and
when
I
you're
said
accusing me of not caring about cancer, just be aware that other people's family members have had cancer too, and they didn't get the same treatment your family did. And I'm continue. I'm sorry. That was angering.
I'm just, I'm just. As I said, guys, I'm sorry, I'm not native English speaker. My English might not be the best, might not express all my feelings that I want to express to you. But I want to say that I actually care about people, and I care about everyone. I seriously, I have a lot of empathy. But what I think is that whenever and whatever you want to do with your life, it only depends on you. You cannot blame it on the system. You cannot blame it on anything. And um, things like it made me look like I want people who are disabled or unfit to work or whatever, like I want them to starve. Is not true. I said it at the very beginning of this conversation that I want people like this to be cared about, because this is not about economy. This is about us being a humans, and even in this terrible capitalism, as you say it, there's still a place for humanity. And it doesn't matter if we are in a socialist government, if we are ruled by socialist government, or we are ruled by capitalist government. It doesn't really matter. We're all humans, and we should take care of each other. And the difference between socialism and capitalism is, I'm sorry if I'm boring you, but I really want to make this last statement. Okay. Um, uh, I'm sorry, guys. If you found me the wrong way, I'm really sorry about that. I never meant anything wrong, as I said at the beginning, and we are not forced to. Exactly. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm I'm reading the chat now. I'm not. We are not forced to, but we should, as a humankind, we should take care of each other, and we should just, I don't know, man, just be humans to each other, you know. And it doesn't matter if we are socialists, right wings, whatever. We are all equal. At the very end, we are not here on this planet to judge, you know.
All right. Well, it's been nice talking
Thank you,
with you.
guys.
Um,
Thank you, guys. Much love. Really, you can get me wrong. It's okay. We are all different. But on the very end, we are all equal. Remember this, different but equal, okay? And this is how I would like
I'm
to
gonna.
end this.
All right. Bye. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I love you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you for this conversation. Bye bye.